Hi everyone, welcome to English Anytime. Today we'll talk about how Americans practice English to build confidence and fluency. In today's fast-changing world, being able to speak English clearly and confidently is very important. Even though many Americans grow up speaking English, many still work hard to improve their speaking skills. They do this by practicing every day, using simple and familiar words, and by engaging in many different activities. In this essay, we will look at the many ways that Americans work on their English. We will see how daily practice, modern technology, social interaction, and a positive attitude all help them become more confident and fluent speakers. This essay explains these ideas in simple language so that everyone can understand and use the same ideas to improve their own speaking skills. The importance of daily practice. One of the most common ways that Americans improve their English is by practicing every day. Daily practice helps make language skills feel natural and easy. Many people set aside time in the morning or evening to read, write, or speak out loud. For example, some people read a few pages of a book or a news article every day. They look up words that are new to them and try to use those words in a sentence. This constant exposure to English builds a habit of thinking in the language, which in turn makes speaking easier and more natural. Many Americans also use simple exercises to practice their speech. They might speak in front of a mirror or record themselves on a phone. By listening to these recordings, they learn how to improve their pronunciation and sound more confident. Even if a person makes mistakes, they see these mistakes as a natural part of learning. Over time, with regular practice, their speaking becomes smoother and more fluent. They learn that repetition is the key to success and that every day's practice adds a little more skill. Using everyday situations for practice. Americans also practice English in everyday situations. They use language at work, in school, and when talking with friends and family. For example, a student might join a study group where everyone talks about their schoolwork in simple English. In these groups, students share ideas, ask questions, and help each other understand difficult words. This kind of practice is very useful because it makes language learning a part of daily life. People are not only learning grammar and vocabulary from a textbook, but they are also learning how to use the language in real situations. In offices and public spaces, many Americans practice clear communication. They learn to speak slowly and clearly so that everyone can understand. This habit of clear speech is encouraged in many workplaces where simple and direct language is valued. When people speak in everyday situations, they use words that are easy to understand, and this helps them build the habit of clear communication. Over time, speaking in everyday language becomes second nature, and they feel more comfortable using English in all aspects of life. Learning through media and technology. Modern technology has brought many new tools for learning English. Americans often use television, radio, and online videos to help improve their language skills. Watching a television show or a movie in English can help people learn new words and hear how native speakers pronounce them. When viewers pay attention to the simple language used by the characters, they learn how to speak more clearly and confidently. This is especially useful for understanding the rhythm and tone of a language. Podcasts and online radio stations are another common tool. Many podcasts are designed to help listeners learn everyday English through interviews and conversations on common topics. These shows use simple words and natural dialogue, which makes them a good resource for anyone who wants to improve their speaking skills. Listening to native speakers helps learners hear the correct pronunciation and sentence structure. It also shows how ideas are connected in a natural conversation. In addition to these media sources, Americans use language learning apps on their smartphones. These apps offer interactive lessons, quizzes, and even games that make learning fun. The lessons are often short and use simple words, making it easier for learners to pick up new phrases. Many of these apps encourage users to speak into the phone and then offer feedback on their pronunciation. This technology makes it possible to practice English anytime and anywhere, whether on a bus, in a park, or at home. With these tools, learners can get immediate practice and improve their fluency step by step. The role of social interaction. Social interaction is a key part of learning English. Americans often join conversation clubs, language cafes, or community groups where people get together to practice speaking. In these settings, every participant is encouraged to share ideas, ask questions, and discuss everyday topics. By talking with others, learners get the chance to use English in real time. They learn to listen carefully, think quickly, and respond in a way that is clear and confident. For many, these gatherings are a safe space where mistakes are accepted. The supportive atmosphere helps people feel less afraid of making errors. When learners know that their mistakes will be corrected kindly, they feel more comfortable trying out new words and expressions. Over time, this kind of practice makes them more fluent and self-assured. They learn that speaking English is not about being perfect, but about communicating ideas in a friendly and effective way. Another common method of practicing English is through online chat rooms and social media groups. These digital communities allow people from different parts of the country to come together and share their experiences. They often post questions, share helpful tips, and encourage each other to practice. The language used in these forums is usually very simple and clear, which makes it easy for beginners to join in. By participating in online discussions, learners gain confidence and learn new vocabulary in a supportive environment. Learning from mistakes and feedback. One of the most important lessons in learning English is understanding that mistakes are part of the process. Many Americans know that it is okay to make errors when speaking. They view mistakes as opportunities to learn and improve. When a teacher or a friend corrects a mistake, the learner listens carefully and tries to remember the correct way of saying it. This feedback is very valuable because it helps the speaker grow and become more fluent. In schools and language classes, teachers create an atmosphere where every mistake is seen as a step toward better communication. They use simple explanations and examples that make it easy to understand the correct usage of words. Many teachers encourage their students to practice speaking without worrying too much about making mistakes. This supportive approach helps build the learner's confidence and creates a learning environment that is both friendly and productive. Americans also use self-correction as a method of learning. When practicing alone or with a friend, many learners record their speech and then listen to it. By comparing what they said with the correct version, they can notice their errors and work to fix them. This method of self-correction not only improves accuracy, but also builds confidence. The more a person practices and listens to their own voice, the more they learn to trust their speaking ability. Using simple, everyday vocabulary. A key aspect of becoming fluent in English is using simple, everyday vocabulary. Americans often choose words that are common and easy to understand. This approach is very effective because it keeps communication clear and avoids confusion. When learners use basic words, they are more likely to be understood by others. This builds confidence and makes conversation more enjoyable. For example, instead of using complex or formal words, many people choose simple alternatives. Instead of commence, they say start. Instead of terminate, they say end. These small changes help keep language clear and straightforward. The use of everyday words also means that conversations are more natural and less intimidating. Over time, using simple language becomes a habit, and learners find that they can express themselves easily and effectively. The emphasis on everyday vocabulary is not only found in conversation, but also in reading and writing. American newspapers, magazines, and online articles often use simple language that is easy for all readers to understand. This practice helps learners see how the language works in real life. By reading material that uses basic words and sentences, learners can see examples of good writing and speaking. They can then try to imitate this style in their own practice. Incorporating technology in language learning. The use of technology is a modern and effective way for Americans to improve their English skills. Many language learners use online tools and mobile apps that are designed to make practice fun and interactive. These tools provide daily exercises that focus on speaking, listening, and writing. They also use simple words and clear examples to teach new ideas. One popular type of technology is speech recognition software. This tool listens to the user's speech and gives immediate feedback on pronunciation. By using this software, learners can hear the difference between their own voice and the correct pronunciation. This instant feedback is very useful because it helps users adjust their speech in real time. It is like having a teacher available at any moment to help with mistakes. Online courses and video lessons are another way that Americans practice English. These courses are often led by native speakers who use clear and simple language. The lessons are broken down into small, manageable parts so that learners can practice step by step. Videos also allow learners to see facial expressions and body language, which are important parts of communication. This method helps learners not only improve their speaking skills, but also understand the cultural aspects of language. In addition, many learners join online forums and language exchange websites. On these platforms, people can talk with native speakers from all over the world. They exchange ideas, ask questions, and practice conversation in a safe, friendly space. The language used in these online interactions is usually simple and direct, which makes it easy for beginners to participate. These online tools provide many opportunities for practice and help learners build both confidence and fluency. Classroom learning and professional instruction. While self-study and technology are important, many Americans also benefit from classroom learning. In formal classes, teachers guide students through the rules of English and help them practice speaking in a structured way. Classroom instruction is often very practical and uses examples from daily life. Teachers use simple words and clear explanations so that every student can understand. They encourage class discussions, group work, and presentations to build speaking confidence. Language schools and community centers often offer classes that focus on everyday English. In these classes, students practice using simple phrases and common expressions that are useful in many situations. The lessons are designed to be interactive, so students are always speaking and listening. The supportive environment in these classes helps learners overcome any fear of making mistakes. By working with a teacher and classmates, learners gain the confidence to speak in a clear and natural manner. Professional instruction is also important in many workplaces. Companies often offer training sessions where employees learn to speak clearly and effectively. In these sessions, trainers focus on simple language, active listening, and clear expression. Employees practice common scenarios such as meetings, phone calls, and presentations. By using everyday language and clear examples, these sessions help build the speaking skills needed for a successful career. This approach shows that practice and professional guidance go hand in hand in building confidence and fluency. The role of self-motivation and goal setting. An important part of learning English is having a positive attitude and setting clear goals. Many Americans set personal goals to improve their language skills. These goals might include practicing for a certain number of minutes each day, learning a set number of new words, or having a conversation with a friend in English. When learners set clear, simple goals, they are more likely to stay motivated and see progress. Self-motivation is built on small successes. Every time a learner uses a new word correctly or speaks confidently in front of others, it adds to their overall confidence. Americans often keep a journal or a record of their progress. They write down new words, phrases, and ideas that they have learned and review them often. This simple practice helps reinforce the new language in their minds. It also shows them that they are making progress, which encourages them to keep practicing. Another common technique is to reward oneself for meeting language goals. For example, after completing a week of daily practice, a learner might treat themselves to a small reward. This positive reinforcement helps maintain motivation. When goals are reached, it creates a cycle of success that makes the learner feel confident and eager to learn more. The habit of setting and achieving small goals is a strong foundation for building long-term language skills. Using repetition and consistency. Repetition is a key element in learning any language. Many Americans believe that the more they repeat words and phrases, the better they will remember them. This method of repetition is used in many everyday activities. For example, when speaking with friends, a person might repeat new words or phrases several times during conversation. This practice helps the words become a natural part of the speaker's vocabulary. Consistency is also very important. Rather than practicing only once in a while, Americans try to make language practice a daily habit. Even if it is only for a short time, regular practice makes a big difference over time. When learners speak English every day, they become more comfortable and less nervous. Their mind starts to think in English, and this leads to better fluency. The combination of repetition and consistency is a powerful tool that builds confidence and helps learners overcome any fear of speaking. Many learners use flashcards and simple drills to practice new words. These tools are especially useful for building vocabulary and reinforcing basic grammar rules. The act of reviewing the flashcards each day helps the brain store the new language more permanently. This method is easy to use and fits into a busy schedule, making it a popular choice among many Americans. Practical tips for everyday practice. There are many simple tips that can help anyone practice English better. One tip is to speak slowly and clearly. Speaking slowly gives the brain time to choose the right words and helps listeners understand every word. Another tip is to listen carefully when others speak. By listening, learners pick up on natural expressions and common phrases. This makes it easier for them to join in the conversation and use similar language in their own speech. Another practical tip is to record one's own voice. Listening to recordings helps identify mistakes and shows where improvement is needed. Many learners also find it useful to practice with a partner or in a small group. Working with others makes practice fun and less stressful. In a group setting, everyone has a chance to speak, and the friendly atmosphere encourages learning. Using these simple tips, anyone can build confidence and improve fluency with everyday practice. Many Americans also use visual aids to help with learning. Pictures, simple diagrams, and written notes can all help the brain remember words and phrases better. For example, when learning the names of common objects, a picture of the object with its name written underneath can be a helpful tool. These visual aids are easy to create and use, and add another dimension to the learning process. The importance of a positive mindset. A positive mindset plays a large role in becoming fluent in English. Americans often say that having a positive attitude makes all the difference. When learners believe in themselves, they are more likely to take risks and speak out loud. Even if mistakes happen, a positive mindset helps them see these mistakes as normal and helpful. This attitude makes it easier to keep practicing without fear or hesitation. Many people also use positive self-talk to boost their confidence. They remind themselves that every mistake is a step toward improvement and that practice makes progress. This kind of self-encouragement is important, especially when learning a new language can sometimes feel difficult. With a positive outlook, every conversation becomes a chance to learn and grow. The idea is to celebrate every small success, whether it is pronouncing a difficult word correctly or using a new phrase in conversation. In addition to self-talk, some learners join groups where everyone supports each other. In these groups, members encourage one another and share tips for improvement. The supportive community creates an environment where everyone feels safe to practice. This sense of belonging and support is very important in building both confidence and fluency. Balancing speaking, listening, reading, and writing. A balanced approach is another strategy that many Americans use to improve their English. While speaking and listening are the most visible parts of communication, reading and writing are just as important. Each skill supports the other and helps build overall language ability. For instance, reading simple books and articles in English helps learners see correct grammar and new words in context. When learners see words used in real sentences, they understand how to use them in their own speech. Writing, on the other hand, allows learners to practice forming sentences and using the correct word order. Many people keep a daily journal where they write about their day in simple English. This not only improves writing skills, but also reinforces speaking skills. When writing is done regularly, it becomes easier to speak clearly because the ideas are already organized in the mind. Listening remains a critical skill for understanding and responding in conversation. Americans often listen to radio programs, podcasts, or simple audiobooks. The more they listen, the better they understand the natural flow of the language. Over time, this balanced approach in practicing speaking, listening, reading, and writing makes the entire learning process smoother and more effective. By paying attention to all four skills, learners build a strong foundation that supports everyday conversation. The role of real-life experiences. Another important way that Americans practice English is by using it in real-life situations. Practical experiences such as ordering food at a restaurant, asking for directions, or even chatting with a neighbor offer immediate practice opportunities. These everyday interactions are often unpredictable, and they force learners to think on their feet. Although these experiences may seem small, they are very effective in building fluency. Each real-life conversation is a chance to use English in a natural way, and with each conversation, learners build more confidence. Travel is also an important factor. Many Americans travel within the United States and abroad, and each journey provides an opportunity to use English in different settings. In hotels, airports, and shops, people speak in simple English to communicate clearly with others. These everyday experiences add up over time and show that learning English is not just something that happens in a classroom, it is part of daily life. How to overcome the fear of speaking. One of the biggest challenges for many learners is the fear of speaking. Many worry that they will make mistakes or not be understood. However, Americans have learned that the best way to overcome this fear is through constant practice and by accepting that mistakes are part of the learning process. In many communities, people are encouraged to speak up and share their ideas without fear of criticism. This kind of open and friendly environment helps everyone feel more at ease. Techniques such as role-playing and public speaking exercises are common in many classes. These exercises allow learners to simulate real-life conversations in a controlled setting. By practicing with a group, individuals learn that making mistakes is normal and that each mistake is a chance to learn. With each role-play or public speaking event, the fear of speaking decreases and confidence increases. Over time, learners become more willing to participate in conversations, even in larger groups. Another way to overcome the fear of speaking is to start small. Many people begin by speaking with just one friend or family member before moving on to larger groups. This gradual approach helps build confidence step by step. By starting with simple conversations, learners can slowly add more complex ideas as they gain assurance in their abilities. The key is to remember that every word spoken is a step toward becoming a more fluent speaker. Tips for staying consistent and motivated. Staying motivated over a long period can be difficult, but there are many simple strategies that Americans use to keep themselves on track. One common method is to set a daily or weekly routine that includes a specific time for practicing English. When practice becomes a habit, it is easier to stay consistent. Many learners use a calendar or an app to remind them of their study sessions. This simple tool can help make sure that practice is not skipped. It is also important to celebrate small victories. Each time a new word is learned or a conversation is completed without hesitation, it is a sign of progress. By keeping a record of these small wins, learners can look back and see how far they have come. This reflection is very encouraging and helps maintain the motivation to continue. Many Americans find that sharing their progress with friends or a language group adds an extra layer of support. When others see their achievements, it motivates everyone to work harder. Another tip is to vary the methods of practice. Sometimes the routine can become dull, so mixing up activities such as watching a new English movie, joining an online chat, or reading a different kind of article can make learning more interesting. This variety not only keeps practice fun, but also exposes learners to different forms of language use. Whether it is a conversation with a friend, a simple online game, or reading a blog post, the key is to keep the language practice ongoing and enjoyable. The benefits of practicing English daily. The benefits of practicing English every day are clear and many. With regular practice, learners notice that they start to think in English. This shift makes speaking smoother and more natural. They also become better at understanding the language when it is spoken by others. Over time, a learner's vocabulary expands, and the ability to form sentences and ideas improves significantly. Daily practice also builds self-confidence. When a person uses English every day, they become less afraid of making mistakes. They learn that even when they speak imperfectly, they can still communicate effectively. This confidence is essential, as it encourages learners to participate more in conversations. In turn, this participation further improves their speaking skills. The benefits of daily practice are not just in the area of language fluency, but also in overall communication skills, which are valuable in both personal and professional settings. How practice leads to greater fluency. Fluency in any language does not come overnight. It takes time, effort, and many hours of practice. Many Americans understand that the journey to fluency is gradual and that each small step is important. With consistent practice, even the simplest conversation becomes easier. Over weeks and months, learners notice that they can speak with fewer pauses and that their ideas flow more naturally. The key to greater fluency is not only the amount of practice, but also the quality. When learners practice speaking in real situations with real people, they learn to adjust their words and tone according to the conversation. They learn to express their thoughts clearly, even when using basic language. This practical experience is invaluable. Every conversation, whether it is with a friend, a colleague, or a stranger, adds to the learner's overall fluency and builds confidence. Practical examples of daily English practice. Let us look at some practical examples of how Americans incorporate English practice into their daily lives. Imagine a person who wakes up in the morning and spends a few minutes reading a simple news article. They highlight a few new words and try to use them later in the day. At work, they participate in meetings where they speak slowly and clearly, making sure everyone understands their ideas. At lunch, they chat with a friend about their plans for the weekend, using everyday language. In the evening, they might watch a short video or listen to a podcast that uses simple conversation. Finally, before going to bed, they write a few lines in a journal about what happened during the day. Each of these activities is a chance to practice speaking, listening, reading, and writing. The person is not only learning new words, but also using them in a way that feels natural and confident. Over time, these small daily practices add up and lead to a marked improvement in overall fluency and confidence. Building confidence through group activities. Group activities also play an important role in building confidence. Many Americans join clubs or groups where the focus is on speaking English. These groups often meet weekly and include activities such as discussions, debates, or storytelling sessions. In these settings, every member is encouraged to speak and share their thoughts. The supportive nature of these groups makes it easier for learners to try out new words without fear of judgment. For example, in a conversation club, each person might be given a simple topic to talk about. They practice speaking about their favorite foods, hobbies, or daily routines. The language used is basic, and everyone is encouraged to use everyday expressions. In such an environment, learners feel safe and supported. Over time, their ability to speak without hesitation improves. They learn that every conversation is a learning opportunity, and that even when they make mistakes, they are on the right path to becoming fluent. How confidence and fluency affect daily life. The improvements in confidence and fluency do not stay limited to language practice alone. When a person becomes more fluent in English, they see changes in many parts of their life. In social settings, they find it easier to join conversations and make new friends. At work, clear communication leads to better teamwork and more successful projects. In everyday situations, such as shopping or using public transportation, speaking clearly makes life simpler and less stressful. A confident speaker is also a better listener. When a person is sure of their language skills, they are more willing to listen and understand others. This two-way communication builds trust and improves relationships. The simple habit of practicing English every day, therefore, leads not only to better language skills, but also to a richer, more connected life. Strategies for long-term improvement. For those who want to continue improving their English skills over the long term, setting clear strategies is very helpful. Many Americans create a plan that includes a mix of activities. They may decide to read a book each month, join a conversation group, or even take an online course periodically to refresh their knowledge. The key is to mix routine practice with new challenges that help build skills gradually. In addition, tracking progress is very important. Some learners keep a diary or use apps that show their improvement over time. Seeing how far they have come encourages them to continue working hard. The long-term strategy is not about perfection, but about steady, consistent improvement. Each day, even a little practice, adds up and makes a big difference in the long run. Encouraging others to practice. Many Americans who have improved their English also encourage others to practice. They share their experiences with friends, family members, or colleagues who want to improve their language skills. By sharing tips and simple methods, they help create a community of learners who support each other. This kind of mutual support is very powerful. When people see that others are also learning and making mistakes, they feel less alone and more willing to try. Group encouragement creates an environment where everyone is motivated to speak and share ideas in simple, clear language, using real-life resources. There are many free resources available to help practice English. Local libraries, community centers, and even online forums offer many opportunities for practice. Americans often visit the library to borrow books that use simple language or to join group reading sessions. Community centers sometimes host language events where everyone can practice speaking in a friendly setting. Online, there are many websites and social media groups where the conversation is kept simple and easy to follow. These resources are very valuable because they allow learners to practice without needing expensive classes or courses. By using these real-life resources, learners can practice English in a way that is both fun and effective. They learn to use everyday language in different settings and see that improvement is possible with regular practice. The variety of resources also means that there's always something new to try, which keeps the learning process interesting and dynamic. Overcoming common challenges. Even with regular practice, many learners face challenges. Some may feel shy about speaking in public or worried about making mistakes. Others may have trouble remembering new words or understanding different accents. However, most Americans learn that these challenges are normal. They work on one small part of their language every day, whether it is pronunciation, vocabulary, or listening skills. With time and patience, the difficulties become easier to manage. When learners encounter a challenge, they often seek help from a teacher, a friend, or even an online community. Sharing the problem with others and asking for simple explanations can make a big difference. The idea is to break down big challenges into small, manageable parts. By focusing on one step at a time, learners find that they can overcome obstacles and continue to build their confidence and fluency. The role of reflection in language learning. Another important part of learning is reflection. Many Americans spend a few minutes at the end of each day to think about what they learned. They ask themselves simple questions like, what new words did I learn today? Or which part of my conversation went well? And what can I improve? This reflection helps them see their progress and plan for the next day's practice. Writing these thoughts down in a journal reinforces what they have learned and builds self-awareness. Over time, reflection becomes a powerful tool that guides their language journey. In conclusion, the journey to speaking English confidently and fluently is a long one, but it is filled with simple, everyday steps that anyone can take. Americans practice English by using daily habits such as reading, listening to media, and engaging in conversation. They use technology, group activities, and even self-reflection to build their language skills. Simple words, repeated practice, and a supportive environment make it easier to learn and use English effectively. By following these simple methods, anyone can improve their speaking skills. The key is to practice every day, use everyday language, and never be afraid of making mistakes. With time, patience, and a positive attitude, fluency and confidence will grow. Whether it is through a chat with a friend, a conversation group, or even a quiet moment of self-study, every small effort counts. Remember that learning English is not about perfection, but about making progress one step at a time. By using these strategies, you can build a strong foundation in English that will serve you well in every part of your life. This essay has shown that the practice of English in America is not only about the language itself, but also about the mindset and habits that make communication clear and confident. With daily practice, the use of simple vocabulary, and a willingness to learn from mistakes, anyone can become a better speaker. The journey may seem long at first, but every word spoken is a step toward greater fluency and self-assurance. Embrace every opportunity to speak, listen, read, and write in English, and soon you will find that you are communicating more easily than you ever thought possible. By making English a part of your daily life, just like many Americans do, you will notice a significant improvement in your ability to express yourself clearly. The methods discussed in this essay are proven techniques that can help anyone, no matter how basic your vocabulary may seem at first. Practice with simple words, use everyday phrases, and take every chance to talk with others. Over time, your voice will become stronger, your vocabulary will expand, and your ability to communicate will flourish. Every conversation is a chance to learn, and every mistake is a chance to improve. In the end, the most important lesson is that confidence comes with practice. The journey to fluency is made up of many small, simple steps, and with each step, you build more strength in your language skills. So, take a deep breath, speak up, and enjoy the process of learning. With patience and persistence, you too can achieve the clear, confident, and fluent English that opens doors to endless opportunities. Final thoughts. This essay has explored how Americans practice English using simple, everyday language, and it has shown that the secret to success lies in regular practice, social interaction, and a positive mindset. By following these easy and practical strategies, anyone can become more confident and fluent in English. Remember, the goal is to communicate clearly and simply. Every day is a new chance to practice and to build the habit of speaking English. Keep your words simple, your ideas clear, and your heart confident, and soon you will see the progress that comes from consistent, daily effort.